2018 Land Rover Range Rover Sport Supercharged car review. We understand in the event you think the buzz of high-performance SUVs has jumped the shark, high-fived a grinning octopus, and helped a wild orca escape the cruel captivity of the amusement park and get back to the deep blue ocean. Yet the unlikely genre shows no indication of going away. Now Land Rover equips the just-revised Range Rover Sport SVR using a carbon fiber hood along with the option of a styling package that leaves the guts section unpainted and side manor connected with an overgrown street racer. The lack of paint is undoubtedly an element of motorsport's grade weight-shaving vehicle that tipped our scales at 5,495 pounds in this most recent test. The good points of 2018 Land Rover Range Rover Sport Supercharged. Stonkingly quick, shockingly capable off-road, well-mannered if you want it to be. The bad points of 2018 Land Rover Range Rover Sport Supercharged. Hefty and feels it, some questionable aesthetics, slow-witted touchscreens. This market isn't about rational argument, obviously, instead a form of lizard brain emotion that drives the need to acquire toys or weapons, the SVR qualifying as both. Although it is significantly from whatever we would regard as being a genuine performance car in anything besides its astonishing acceleration, it's still remarkably well-rounded. The yin as well as the yang. The distance involving the extremes with the SVR's split personality was ably demonstrated within the launch event within the United Kingdom. This included some reasonably strenuous off-roading, driving through the type of rain-swept, muddy problems that Blighty excels at delivering. But we also got the ability to experience an indicated 150 miles per hour at Jaguar Land Rover's fun end test track. This was completed in the exact same vehicle wearing a similar set of summer tires throughout. Mechanical alterations from your previous SVR are slight. Like its predecessor, the facelifted model is powered with the long-serving supercharged 5.0-liter V8 featured within the upper reaches from the company's portfolio and that has been tweaked to provide 575 horsepower, a 25 horsepower improvement. Torque boasts risen slightly, from 502 lb-ft to 516. The well-aged engine exhales by using an appropriately Jurassic performance exhaust, the one which in its louder sport mode will most likely get your homeowners association starting abatement petitions. The NASCAR soundtrack makes unleashing the SVR a much more visceral experience, but ultimate performance is startling in their own right. Land Rover claims a 4.3 second 0 to 60 mph time, a feat we achieved within a 550 horsepower 2015 model year SVR. Stomped within the accelerator along with the big Rover responds as though its tail may be set alight, excel in a startling rate until well past 100 miles per hour given an extended enough straight, it's going to reach a governed top speed of 176 miles per hour. Land Rover says. While startling passengers and spilling coffees is usually a neat trick, the harder impressive thing concerning the SVR is the place uncompromised it feels in everyday use. In gentle driving, the engine's soundtrack fades into a muscular burble, with all the airspring suspension offering a cost-setting low-speed ride comparable to that with the regular Range Rover Sport. The 8-speed automatic gearbox can perform lightning-fast upshifts under full throttle but can be impressively refined at the mellower pace. We're told that suspension revisions have already been limited to new settings with the adaptive dampers. The SVR certainly appears to have less in the nose-up attitude its predecessor adopted under hard acceleration. We suspect there may be less dive under braking likewise. Lateral roll remains more connected with an issue, with all the Sport ultimately losing its seek to gain exemption from some with the more basic rules of Newtonian physics. At reasonable speeds, cornering forces are very well contained, plus the SVR steers through an accuracy and agility that belies its size and height. Understeer is gamefully resisted, while using assistance of brake-based torque vectoring along the rear axle. But increased loads on it leaning hard, since the forces involved with altering the vector of those tall, heavy object you have to be apparent. The SVR doesn't develop the active anti-roll bars utilized by Audi and Bentley to address roll inside Q7 and also the Bentayga, and fast progress along a twisty road has decided to turn passengers green. Mo style. Behind the carbon trim, the SVR is given the identical styling update as the off-the-shelf Range Rover Sport, with slimmer headlamps and a much more aggressive front bumper. The SVR gets 21-inch wheels as standard and what's apparent to be an oft-sticked use of 22s. We can consider no good grounds for any buyers to choose the choice of the unpainted hood that's bundled in a $5,200 carbon fiber exterior package, as well as the $4,080 metallic bronze of the sample SVR might be wide of many tastes. Land Rover has given the carbon Fibre free rein within the cabin, with swathes of gray weave sprinkled about. Rear seat occupants asserted conversations from the front sounded like these folks were being relayed by a loudspeaker, leading us to wonder if the hard interior pieces were playing acoustic tricks. Warmer and friendlier finishes are additionally available. The redesigned front bucket seats are claimed just to save 66 pounds above the non-SVR seats, but felt too firm and unyielding after an hour or so behind the wheel. Like the paterfamilia's Range Rover, the Sport may be given the new touchscreen version of JLR's latest in-control Touch Pro infotainment system. This looks good but hides many functions in myriad sub-menus. Along with the screen inside our Range Rover was slow to answer touch commands. There are faster plus more dynamically accomplished options available for those while using budget and inclination to the ultimate performance SUV. The Lamborghini Urus as well as the Bentley Bentayga, for example. But neither could venture as far to the wilderness since the Range Rover can. On the other side with the equation, none from the rivals that might match or better the SVR's performance off-road could easily get close to it within the straight fight on asphalt. For those consumed by its brutish charm, that's all of the sense the SVR would need to make.